Here's a little tutorial on the complexity of your green screen and motion tracking markers. If you look on this side, so we'll play this through on the left side. So you're crossing past these silver points, which isn't too bad, but it's connected to the green. When you start to play that through as a green screen on any program, you're going to start to see these little points of the silver and the green on the edge of the person. Now that's easy to fix. This is also easy to fix. What is not easy to fix is the green and the silver, because you're also wearing silver eyeshadow and a silver bra. So that makes it really hard for a program to see that. So each frame would have to be painted out where there's silver. As you notice, you're wearing reflective pants as well, and that cuts out. So in one program, I tried my best to take care of that with automated marker removal, and I did okay. But there were problems where there are 7,500 frames in this time, and that's too much for one person to ever do. So you've got all of these different areas, plus they're different slices of each of the same thing or something else. So you can't just do a little snip of one area and then fix just that, because you've got the entire footage that you're taking from. And then you have this, that's 5 minutes here, right? There's 5 minutes here, there's 4 minutes here. That's 15, 16 minutes of raw footage. Now if you go up here, not only is there silver and green, and the silver's all different colors because there's shadows from the light, but if we go in different places, you're going to find that the camera's moving on this too, which means that this can't be trapped, and it goes out of the frame and back in. That's not a big deal for about 5 or 10 seconds of video, which is what it should have been. But this is 5 minutes, and 5 minutes and 30 seconds of you dancing around, and each one of these being overlaid by your body or your arm. And the green screen has to be taken out as well. And it's reflecting on your clothing. And you're also wearing silver on your face. That's only one video. Now here is a finish. If you look, I got a program to run to do all of this. Now I'm going to pause this for 1 second. Now this program is awesome. So if you look in this little flow chart that I built, here's the one with the spots of you dancing, right? And we've got light silver, dark silver at the shadow, this edge of the duct tape, which is also a different color. It all really has to be one color. You see how it gets lighter and darker and darker? Well, if I just plain out made a primat, a filter out the color itself, green, you would notice the thing that you had. You had a problem where it would actually, it wouldn't take it out. So if we just key that out with, say, primat, and we chose auto compute to get rid of the green, we could see here what it would do. Now it's kind of close, right? And if you look, you could see that it gets the edge of that, which isn't a big deal. It's never going to be perfect at your price range. But if we cleaned it up, you notice that we have, even if we cleaned up the foreground noise, right there, you would still have those markers. Those markers are silver. So we can't really get rid of those. What do we do? Well, what I did was I made it so I have this. Then I did a roto, which is rotoscope, of those points that we have. Then I inverted it. I made it white. Then I merged it right back on top, the black points, right on top of this. So it gets rid of those points. Now you're in front of that. Sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. So that's going to at least blur the edges of those until your body goes past it, and then it gets really weird. But so for instance, you'll see this. That'll happen. But that's better. Nobody, I mean, no one can paint every single frame and fix that for under like $5,000 a video. There's no way. It's impossible. So thankfully, automated stuff from Fusion or Nuke, the free versions, have come to our rescue. Now we have a merge there. Then we do an edge blur. Then this thing called unpremult smushes the color from the edges and does this really kind of cool fix. Now that's going to mess up the green screen because the green is now going to suck into the head, but it's, like I said, there's no way to do it without automating it. So then that's finished. Then we have Primat here, and I use a green color here as the permanent background. The reason I do that is so that now I have a perfect green screen. I could also do it without a background, just as a plain black. And you can see we're pretty close. There's a little bit of an edge, not a big deal. So when I render this out as the background, the finish ends up looking like this. And in here, for that one dance, for the one video, one angle, is 7,635 frames. Each one of those frames had to be rendered and saved. And like I said, it's not perfect on the edge of some of the markers that were there, but the computer does a great job with that program, getting rid of them as much as it can. And sometimes you'll lose the color of the pink stick when it goes through the line, but again, it can't be manually done. It would take forever. But when it plays back, it looks pretty good. So what I did was the green background. This is transparent, by the way. If you look at these, you'll notice that it looks like it's white, but it's actually transparent. So hold on. So here you go. Here's a finish that I did for fun. I didn't do it because I wanted green or energy. I just wanted to give you a fun idea. Here's your original footage scene. So this is 7,600 and some odd frames of what's going on. Now if I take the adjustment layer off and I just show you your background image, you'll see what it looks like. Hold on one second as it loads. Alright, so here's you with 7,600 frames. There's ever so slightly green edge on everything, but it's okay. Now, I just added effects like a cool colored background with the green and some effects on top, just for fun. They didn't have to be there, they're just there for fun. Okay? So if it was just your character, no extra effects on here, like the glowing edges, you see that? To show you more clearly what's going on, I'll put this in the background, underneath of it all. See? So there you are finished. You see a little bit of an error around the feet, but it's not a big deal. And if I went forward and backward, you would definitely see you're kind of dancing around doing your thing. And that could be a globe, it could be the earth, it could be whatever you want. But it sure is a lot better than the Premiere with only the green screen, because now look, those plus marks that took almost 4 months to figure out how to get rid of are now gone. So let's play that back. So it really could be anything. It could be that. It could be a cool adjustment layer on top. It could be this type of effect that I put on it. I could put some of that glow edges back on. See? It doesn't matter. It's just transparent. I did it because it kind of looked fun. Now you can put it back on the earth. It'd be kind of hard to see, and we can get rid of that green a little bit, but to a point. I mean, it's as good as it's going to get for the amount of work that you wanted and the huge amount of video frames that there are with that silver and green and reflections. Now I did the same thing here. Hold on one second. If you look here, here's a little echoey dance thing that I did. So I go back to the first comp. I take the adjustment layer off, the second layer off, and there's just you with no glowing edges. That's you. Now if I take the background off, you'll notice again, if I put that background behind it, you can see what I did. See? And it could be anything. It could be a globe, it can be the earth. You know, there could be an earth right there, it could be another layer. See, some of it isn't perfect because you're wearing reflective clothing, and there's really, with all the things that had to be removed, there's no way to fix that. So you just let it go. You just put it in. It's not a big deal. There it is again. There's you dancing. There's the background. And you can see where the check mark was that got unpremultiplied and blended in that really great program. So that's the idea. So you can put a bunch of these together. Now in Premiere, I'll show you 1 second as an example. So there's the same thing. I'm going to go back to the edit here. Should I say this right here, this layer, and I'm going to drop in that dancing character that I have. Let's see. There you go. I'm going to put that on top. Now that character can go anywhere. And of course, if you pull on the corners that are almost invisible because it's transparent now, you could do any size that you like, and that can go anywhere. Now let me change that to a world or a planet still image. So I found an Earth that I could use real quick. I'm going to drop that in here as an example. It takes a second to load. There we go. I'm going to put that below. I don't have great footage of that, but I have an Earth builder that I found, a planet builder, and other cool stuff. So we have that. Blow it up so it hits the edges, I guess. And then you can change the contrast and stuff like that. Effect, channel, or let's see, color correction, levels, and then make it darker at the top, I suppose. Bring that up, bring those down. That should make the planet look like it fades. So there you go. So now you have both of those different videos, all still frames that take a really long time to render. But then you say, oh wait, I really need, oops, I really need the other dance character to move down. So you take that one and you move it down on top of the Earth. So then you have that. Now there is a little bit of a green edge, but that really can't be helped to a point. I can sort of get rid of it, but if I take too much of it away, your entire person's going to get lost. That's why I did a green background for fun. But, you know, it's a heck of a lot better than before. So that takes like 4.5 to 6 hours, plus an hour setup time, just for the still ones where you're not moving with the camera. The one if I did with the guy moving the camera would probably take me 10 to 12 work hours to get rid of all those points. That's for one video. Not the ones of the bunny and the reflections and all those other things. So all of these videos, once they've been rendered as still frames, can be edited in Premiere or some other program. Sometimes you're going to get some of that too, because it's just, you can use another alpha key on top of that and get it rid of if you want, but I think some of this beautiful detail will go away. So let's take a look. Let's play that back. It looks pretty good. So that's the idea. And I guess if we find a moving planet or a plugin that does a planet, that might be kind of neat. And that's all. So I found this plugin for free by Video Copilot called Orb. Maybe that'll help us out a little bit. So if I blow that up and we make a planet, of course it's got to be gigantic eventually, but for now, just this example should be good. Oops. That's what I'm trying to do, is center it. So then we have that. Much lower, obviously. And material, color, diffuse, surface. Okay. Maps. There's probably a bunch of different maps that we can use. Source. Now let me find a map to put on here really, really quick. Alright, so this should work. Let me see if I can find a source. Diffuse layer. I guess I can add it as a map. So let me import that really quick and put that under here. It should come in a second. Gigantic map of the Earth. Alright, so that I can put under here. And here, I could just kind of maybe hide that and tell it that the source is... Oh, I can do it that way. That's great. Let's see what that does, if it renders it. Yep, there you go. There's an Earth. diffuse brightness, glossiness layers, and we can do illumination, bump layer matte, UV. Yeah, that's fine. Render, environment, motion blur. Oh, it could rotate motion blur too. That's kind of neat. So that's it for now. I mean, gamma can be like 1, so it's darker and it's in space. And there shouldn't be a reflection on it, obviously. Not too much one. Then we can move the Earth down, I suppose. And make the radius more like 3,000. And move the position, maybe move it down to like 2,500. And move the position down until it starts to fit really far down here. There we go. Then it can rotate over time or whatever. It can just be rendered. That can be played around with. The idea is that now that the Earth is like that, we start up at 0 seconds, and our rotation starts up at nothing, and after 30 seconds, maybe, or 60 seconds, it rotates 1 time on the x-axis. Not really sure which axis that's going to be on this globe. I haven't used this yet, but it's going to take a long time to render. So let's take a look. Rotating Earth. Or maybe, you know, footage if we find it. Oh, it's rotating the wrong way. That's okay. So imagine it rotating left and right. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So let me pause that for a second. I'll show you a finish when it's done. 2 or 3 seconds of video. This takes about a minute to 2 minutes for every second of video to rotate that planet. Alright, so we're going to look at a couple seconds of this now. Oh. There we go. It's having a heart attack. There we go. Let's go back and take a look. Alright. There we go. So you get the idea. Effects and glows and stars, and there's a limit to what can be done. Now look at the fun stuff I did that was on there. I put some energy, like before, and I put you on top of your own self. Maybe you can fade out towards the bottom, so the way the energy's on the Earth and you're towards the bottom, it sees less of it, so there's none of this until it gets to the top. But it looks pretty cool. And then we go to the next one, which is the whole comp of the whole thing together. That sort of idea. Forget this and forget this. It was just the idea that dancing and energy could have done all that stuff. It's just kind of a neat, fun idea. So if I went back here and got rid of some of this with an alpha channel, let's see if that works. So if I make a new solid and I put it underneath of that energy, I think the energy one's that one. So it's underneath the energy. Then I make a new gradient. Image, generate gradient, maybe? Gradient ramp. There you go. So light to dark. And then I did get your alpha channel from the illumination of what's, well, actually, I guess that should be above it. There. And here we go to this. See how the light to dark creates that kind of a fun thing going on? And then the black solid, I could just truncate that a little bit and move this down. So it slowly gets into that energy level. That was just fun. It is what it is. I just did it for fun. So if I play back a couple of those frames and I preview, maybe at half resolution, it might be a little bit faster. There we go. That should be a little bit better. You get the idea. And then the goat or death could have some type of echoey effect on it. So let me pause this and show you that. Or actually, I just go into here, right here, and take this echo energy that I did was the chromatic aberration. Go back here and go on to the layer. I think that's it. Yeah, 7,500 frames. And put that on top of that. So now the ghost has, death has a layer. Death actually would be kind of neat if it was like maybe on the edge and even a little bit smaller. And maybe there was a star system behind all of this, illuminating only. Hold on 1 second and I'll show you. So I found some stars here. Save the image real quick and put it on my desktop. And maybe throw that onto there. And these stars, I will make them nope. Yep, there we go. And blow that up. Sort of like that. And put them underneath of almost everything. And make them have color correction levels. A little bright, obviously. Bring that down. And fix the gamma. So yeah, kind of like that for space. And then of course you would build some type of mask for where the Earth is. Obviously that's not a perfect mask, it's just an idea. And bring that down here. And what you have now, if you go into that mask, is something that I can invert, and then I can use this feather to feather the stars into the Earth. Could probably even just move those up a little bit so it's not so harsh. There we go. So then you have that. Let's go back up to the adjustment layer and let's take a look at a couple of frames of that. So there's you dancing, death moving with a cool little ambience so you can see it. Because remember, a black death on top of a black sky is going to be hard to see. And maybe fix the stars that are too close to that blue. But, you know, it looks good so far. Play it back. See? And of course, maybe make the Earth go the correct way. It's not bad. Let's go a little further here. There you go. I don't think the Earth is moving anymore. I didn't put a keyframe for it to move. But you get the idea. That's pretty cool, right? I think that's the edge I should have pulled down. So let's take a look. Boom. That looks pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to save this and send it to you so you can watch it.